There is a moment in $100 million offers where Alex Hormozi describes selling a gym membership for $19,000. Not $1,900, $19,000. And the customer was happy to pay it. Most readers walk away from that story thinking the lesson is about value stacking, or guarantees, or the specific pricing tactic Hormozi used that day. It is not. The actual lesson in $100 million offers is buried 2 layers below the surface, and it explains why some founders read this book and 10 times their revenue, while others read the same book, apply the same frameworks, and barely move the needle. Today, we go deep on what Hormozi actually wrote, what he meant, and the one mental shift that separates the operators who get rich from this book from the ones who just take notes. This is the Founder's Bookshelf. 1 book a week, 1 sharp take, no fluff. If that sounds like your kind of channel, the subscribe button is your friend. Before we dig in, the context matters. Alex Hormozi published $100 million offers in July of 2021. He was 33 years old. He had recently sold most of his fitness business holdings to American Pacific Group for what he has publicly described as a substantial 9-figure outcome. The book is short, 270 pages. It cost $5 on Kindle for most of its first year on the market. Hormozi gave away the audiobook for free. This pricing strategy was not an accident. It was the first lesson of the book, demonstrated before you read a single page. Hormozi understood that the book was not the product. The book was a customer acquisition vehicle for Acquisition.com, the holding company he was building. That single observation, that the book itself is an example of the book's thesis, is the doorway into what $100 million offers is actually about. Most readers think the book is about pricing. It is not. Most readers think the book is about offers. It is, but only in the surface sense. What $100 million offers is actually about is a single, unfashionable, and slightly uncomfortable idea. It is this. The price a customer is willing to pay is not a function of your cost, your competitors, or your perceived value. It is a function of how clearly the customer can see the gap between their current reality and the reality you are promising them. That is the entire book. Everything else, the value equation, the dream outcome, the perceived likelihood of achievement, the time delay, the effort and sacrifice, is just Hormozi giving you the dials you can turn to widen that gap. Once you see the book through this lens, everything in it clicks into place, and the parts of the book that most readers gloss over become the most important parts. Let us start with the framework Hormozi is most famous for, the value equation. The book defines the perceived value of an offer as a function of 4 variables: the dream outcome, what the customer believes they will achieve; the perceived likelihood of achievement, how confident they are it will work for them; the time delay, how long it will take; and the effort and sacrifice required, what they have to do, give up, or risk. Mathematically, the first 2 go on top of the equation. The second 2 go on the bottom. To increase perceived value, you either raise the top or lower the bottom. This framework is good. It is genuinely useful. But it is also where most readers stop, and stopping here is the mistake. Because the value equation does not tell you why you are charging what you are charging. It only tells you how to raise the value of an offer you have already chosen. The deeper question, the one Hormozi gestures at throughout the book but never names directly, is this. Which dial matters most for this specific customer? The customer who pays $19,000 for a gym membership is not paying $19,000 because the value equation is high. They are paying because for them, the dream outcome dial is the only dial that matters. The price-sensitive customer at a different gym is not paying less because they value the outcome less. They are paying less because for them, the effort and sacrifice dial is the one that dominates. Same equation, same product category, completely different pricing power. This is the lesson most readers miss. The value equation is not a formula for raising your prices. It is a diagnostic tool for figuring out which customer you are actually selling to. The chapter most readers skim is the one on guarantees. This is a mistake. Hormozi spends roughly 40 pages of a 270-page book on guarantees. That is 15% of the entire text. He does this for a reason. In Hormozi's framework, the guarantee is the single most powerful lever you can pull on the perceived likelihood of achievement, the second variable in the value equation. And in most markets, especially crowded ones, perceived likelihood is the variable customers actually struggle with. They believe in the dream outcome. They want the time savings. They are willing to do the work. What they do not believe is that this will work for them. That is the gap a guarantee closes. Hormozi outlines 4 categories of guarantee: unconditional, conditional, anti-guarantees, and the implied guarantee. The book treats these as a menu. Pick one. What it does not say, and what becomes obvious only after you have applied this in a real business, is that the category of guarantee you offer signals what kind of company you actually are. An unconditional money-back guarantee signals that you are confident enough in your product to take all the risk. A conditional guarantee, pay only if you do not see results in 90 days, provided you completed the program, signals that you are confident in your product only when the customer does their part. An anti-guarantee, all sales final, no refunds, you are committing, signals that you are selling something where the customer's commitment is the product. Hormozi sells courses and coaching. His guarantees lean toward conditional because in his world, the customer doing the work is half the value equation. But the same logic applied to a SaaS company would look completely different. And applied to a luxury service business, different again. The guarantee chapter is not a tactical menu. It is a strategic positioning exercise. And it is the chapter most summary videos skip in 15 seconds. This is where I have to be honest with you. $100 million offers was written in 2021. The economy it describes, abundant attention, cheap paid acquisition, a customer base hungry for online offers and willing to commit at high price points, is not the economy we are in today. In 2026, paid acquisition costs across most B2C verticals have risen by roughly 2 to 4 times compared to 2021. Organic reach on Meta and TikTok has compressed. The attention environment Hormozi was operating in when he formulated these frameworks was unusually generous. This does not mean the book is wrong. It means the book is incomplete. The value equation still works. The guarantee framework still works. The Grand Slam offer concept still works. What has changed is the cost of getting an offer in front of a qualified buyer. In 2021, you could test 5 offers a week with $1,000 in ad spend. In 2026, that same test costs $3,000 to $5,000 and gives you noisier data. The strategic implication of this is significant, and it is the part $100 million offers could not have predicted. In a world of expensive acquisition, the first offer you launch matters disproportionately more than it did when Hormozi wrote the book. You cannot afford to iterate your way to a Grand Slam offer the way the book suggests. You have to think harder up front, talk to more customers before you build, and accept that the cost of being wrong has gone up. This is not a criticism of the book, it is an update, and it is what a serious reading of any business book has to include. The question of which parts age well, and which parts assume a world that no longer exists. Which brings us back to the beginning. The real lesson in $100 million offers is not the value equation. It is not the Grand Slam offer. It is not even the guarantee chapter, as important as that is. The real lesson is this. Most founders are not underpriced. They are underpositioned. When a customer pushes back on price, the founder's instinct is to lower the price. Hormozi spends an entire book showing you why that instinct is wrong. The customer is not telling you the price is too high. The customer is telling you the gap you are promising is too small. Lower the price and you confirm the customer's suspicion that the gap is small. Widen the gap through a sharper dream outcome, a stronger likelihood signal, a faster time to result, or a more dignified path to get there, and price stops mattering. This is not a tactic. This is a worldview. And it is the worldview that separates the founders who read $100 million offers, apply the frameworks, and watch their revenue compound, from the founders who read the same book, apply the same frameworks, and quietly wonder why nothing changed. The first group internalized the worldview. The second group memorized the tactics. If you have read $100 million offers and want to actually apply it, Here is what I would suggest. First, before you touch your pricing, write down the gap your offer promises. Current reality, promised reality. 1 sentence each. If you cannot articulate the gap in 2 sentences, your offer is the problem, not your price. Second, for each of the 4 value equation dials, ask which one your specific customer is most sensitive to, not which one your industry usually pulls on. Which one this customer in this segment cares most about. The answer is rarely the dial you have been pulling. Third, if your customers do not believe the outcome is achievable for them, fix that before you do anything else. A stronger guarantee, sharper social proof, a more credible mechanism. Perceived likelihood is the variable most founders underinvest in, and the one Hormozi spent 40 pages on for a reason. Fourth, recognize that the cost of testing offers has gone up. Slow down at the offer design stage. Talk to more customers before you launch. Accept that the iteration loop is more expensive than it was when this book was written. $100 Million Offers is not a book about pricing. It is a book about how to think about the relationship between what you sell and what your customer is actually buying. The founders who internalize that distinction get rich from this book. The ones who do not, do not. If this is the kind of breakdown you want every week, one book, one sharp take, no fluff, subscribe. Next week, we are going deep on 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, and the central contradiction in Thiel's own portfolio that nobody seems willing to talk about. The bookshelf is open. See you Tuesday.